Hello, I'm Simon Palin and you're watching the Consumer Quarter. We take a look at what's happening in the retail sector and at the issues affecting you as a consumer. In this edition, mobile targets. Internet retailers have those who shop on mobile phones and portable computers in their sites.
Globally, we saw 18% of our traffic come through a mobile device.
And caring is car sharing. More people are finding alternatives to owning their own car.
Anything we can do to reduce the number of cars on our streets is really important.
But first, in the last edition of the Consumer Quarter, we looked at how the BlackBerry smartphone is on the wane in consumer markets. In many countries, BlackBerry is now only focusing on the corporate market. But elsewhere in the smartphone industry, the battle between the iPhone and the Android is heating up. Having long dominated, the iPhone is now facing some genuine competition. As it stands, the iPhone has a 38% share of the market and Android has 28%. But more iPhone users are converting to Android than vice versa. And interestingly, Android users are more likely to be male. And of course, the smartphone is a critical factor in many of the issues covered on this show, from social networking to mobile commerce. An explosion in smartphone technology is seeing shoppers buy anywhere at any time, and retailers are scrambling to adapt, making phone-friendly websites to keep up with fierce competition from overseas. But one expert is warning that local regulations are outdated, and without urgent action, mobile commerce could become the Wild West.
ASOS is the British e-tailer that's shaking up shopkeepers. Since setting up its Australian site in September, it's been quietly shipping 2 jumbo jets worth of fashion to consumers here every week, while local retail's in the doldrums.
Australia is the second largest territory for ASOS, behind the UK, and certainly we are ranked as #1 most visited apparel site in Australia.
ASOS has eclipsed the upmarket site Net-a-Porter in online sales, turning over more than $500 million last year. And there was a Christmas sales spike from shoppers using mobile phones and portable computers.
Globally, we saw 18% of our traffic come through a mobile device.
eBay says more than half of its top 2,000 sellers say 2012 will be the first year they invest in mobile commerce. And they're not alone. David Jones is working on a mobile-specific version of its web store, and Sportsgirl's leading the pack with a mobile platform and interactive mirrors that allow shoppers to buy an outfit, post a picture online and get instant feedback from their friends.
It's no longer just enough to have a website. It's actually how you're engaging with her, how you're communicating to her, how you're giving her an experience online to get her coming back to your online environment.
But buying on the go can be a minefield.
Cyber criminals earn $1 trillion a year by fraud and denial of service attacks and other kinds of cyber crimes.
And with new shops and apps available every day, consumers are facing an uphill battle working out which sites are safe. One expert says the law's lagging 15 years behind the technology.
That's Nicole Chettle with that story. And a technology explosion is also affecting the television industry. There were fears that Foxtel's takeover of Austar would create a monopoly in the pay TV sector. But analysts say it's been approved by regulators, largely because the National Broadband Network will soon allow for so many other ways of viewing content. 1 year in the making, approval to merge Foxtel and its smaller rival Austar was delayed several times. The competition regulator, the ACCC, was worried about a monopoly in the pay TV sector, but now it won't oppose the deal after Foxtel agreed to a number of concessions.
The undertaking that we've got today is one that does, in a sense, deal with the competition concerns we had from the merger.
The concessions mean the merged company can't have exclusive rights for internet TV and a range of other TV shows and movies, but it can continue to have exclusive rights for individual sports.
We think the undertakings have balanced quite well the ability for new entrants to enter the market versus the importance of encouraging us to continue to invest in content and in driving innovation.
Either way, some analysts say it's all becoming fairly trivial because in a few years the National Broadband Network will deliver so many new ways of watching TV.
Do you think that has been a factor in the ACCC's decision to allow this merger? definitely would have been a factor, unquestionably. All these technologies would have weighed in, and it's a pretty smart decision that they've made, because they can see all this new technology coming and they can see consumers already choosing different ways to get content that they want. It's going to continue.
It is a very competitive environment. We back ourselves to compete. We think we've got a great offering that our customers love. We believe cable and satellite are still very, very, very important ways to deliver television programming to people's homes.
Foxtel and Austar are hopeful the merger will be completed by May. The Ryanair airline is reducing the size of its in-flight magazine. It's serving passengers less ice, and now it's even asking cabin crew to watch their weight, all as part of efforts to trim its fuel bill. With the price of jet fuel rising sharply in recent years, airlines are devising imaginative ways of reducing the weight of their aircraft. Ryanair has also been a vocal supporter of an airline fat tax, under which overweight passengers would be asked to pay more. And Qantas is also trying to cut costs. It's launched the first commercial flight in Australia powered by fuel made from recycled cooking oil. The airline says it aims to use sustainable aviation fuel on a wide scale in the not too distant future.
Qantas chief Alan Joyce had his hands on the future, a fuel which he says will slash the carbon footprint of aviation by 60%.
We need to get ready for a future that is not based on traditional jet fuel, or frankly, we don't have a future.
The A330 was the first commercial flight to have one engine powered by a 50-50 blend of regular and sustainable aviation fuel. Passengers and crew lined up to accrue their frequent frying points.
Yeah, somebody has said this morning that we should call it frying high.
And this is the source of the jet fuel, leftover cooking oil from McDonald's stores in the United States.
We filter it, take out all of the particles, the rough particles, and then by using hydrogen, we can turn it into a liquid, transparent fuel.
The first batches are 4 to 5 times more expensive than regular jet fuel, but the price is expected to drop as economies of scale are achieved. And the federal government is chipping in $500,000 to study other materials that might also be converted into fuel.
Conversion of rubbish, the sugarcane residuals, algae is another alternative. There's plenty of alternatives.
The test flight from Sydney to Adelaide was labelled a success. The cooking oil fuel was found to be slightly more efficient than the fossil fuel recipe.
The UK is following Australia's lead on plain packaging for cigarettes. It's announced the first steps in tightening laws on tobacco branding and display. And like Australia, the UK government's gearing up for legal battles with tobacco companies. Here's our Europe correspondent, Philip Williams.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor?
The days where smoking was seen as glamorous are long gone. Now in the bigger shops and supermarkets, brands must be hidden away. The Health Secretary, Andrew Lansley, is quoted as saying attractive packaging helps to recruit smokers, and he takes it further, saying tobacco companies have no business in this country. And to reinforce that message, a consultation process has begun that could lead to laws mandating plain packaging. While anti-smoking groups are applauding the British government for this new initiative, many give credit to the Australian government for leading the way.
The kind of strength that the Australian government is showing in response to the kind of tobacco industry, legal action and the bullying and so on, I think has also kind of helped us as well.
They stand out. I look straight at them, if you understand what I'm saying. So you said if you went in and didn't see those, would you not buy any then? No, I just assume they ain't got my fags.
The Tobacco Manufacturers Association says plain packaging only serves to make counterfeiting cigarettes easier, and that there is no reliable evidence it will reduce rates of youth smoking. Not so, according to anti-tobacco organisations like ASH.
With plain standardised packaging, they'll no longer be proud to take that pack out of their pocket.
But according to branding experts, even mandating plain packaging won't stop tobacco companies promoting their products.
Through email campaigns, through viral marketing, through product placement, there's a lot of other options for them besides point of sale.
The pressure on tobacco companies and their customers is intensifying. Australia's legal battles may seem a long way from here, Yet governments and corporations are watching from afar. Philip Williams, ABC News, London.
Philip Williams reporting there, and governments and corporations are also closely watching a growing business which is changing the shape of transport in cities across Australia. Car sharing, where users pay a membership fee and then an hourly rate, provides an alternative to owning a car, and because of its environmental and financial benefits, it's increasing in popularity, as Emily Stewart reports.
Bruce Jeffries founded GoGet in 2003 with just 3 cars and 12 members. It's since grown to a fleet of 800 and 18,000 members.
It's still a relatively new industry, and as it grows, we see it servicing more and more parts of our cities.
Suits city living, because I think we worked out that owning a car through petrol, maintenance, parking, and even having it just garaging it is quite difficult. So this was a really good alternative for us.
Car sharing took off around 20 years ago in Germany and Switzerland, but it's since spread around the world.
I think it's a question of money. It's a high investment you have to take if you want an own car. But if you take a look at Freiburg, where I come from, we got, let's say, almost 1/3 cyclists, and a lot of them don't need a car. They cycle to work and everywhere.
Public-private partnerships are key to the success of the 3 car-sharing companies that operate in Australia. Local councils provide the car spaces on the street and in car parks, and in the central business district, these car parks can be worth tens of thousands of dollars a year.
We support car sharing because it's an alternative to owning cars, and congestion is a big issue in big cities, and it is in the city of Melbourne, and anything we can do to reduce the number of cars on our streets is really important.
Planning departments now encourage new residential and commercial developments to build smaller car parks and include car spaces for car sharing companies instead.
Emily Stewart reporting. And that's all for this edition of the Consumer Quarter. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see any past episodes, or if you've got any feedback or even story ideas, please feel free to get in touch online, on Twitter @SimonPalin, or on Facebook, search for the Consumer Quarter page and click like to stay up to date. And I'll see you next time.